All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Echak double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting the good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So what I want to talk about is our forefather Abraham and Moses, and how he was the example of basically sacrificing your life and going into the way of the Lord. So we have examples, and and once you understand that aspect, the truth gets a little bit easier, because it's not an easy thing. But if you have the mind state, because everything starts with the mind. If you understand that in this life, this is not your rest. This life is not where you're going to get your glory. It's not where you're going to get your peace. Then you're literally just living your life in the way that the Lord told you, to the best of your ability, that you could be delivered and then enter into his rest. See, when you have the mindset that I want everything in this world, then you will perish with this world. And if you don't understand that this world is temporary, but the world that we're about to enter into is eternal, then you basically created a stumbling block into yourself. So I want to go through a couple examples of Abraham and Moses. So it says, and Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers. And they presented themselves before the Most High. And Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nachor, and they served other gods. So you got to understand, Abraham, he grew up just how we grew up, in an idolatrous family, an idolatrous situation. But the Lord separated him the way that he separated us. So it says, and I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood. So the same way that the Lord have taken us from out of that idolatrous lifestyle and put us on the path of righteousness, and led him throughout all the land of Canaan, and multiply his seed, and gave him Isaac. So that's what's actually about to happen to us, because he's about to take us to the land. He's going to multiply our seed, and Isaac is actually Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to give you a little quick example, because that's going to take away from the lesson. It said, now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said, not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and to your seed, which is Hamashiach. So we ain't gonna go too deep with that, but the scripture says what it says. And this don't need no, this is not a metaphor. This is a literal one. So that's an example. So the Lord took Abraham away from his idolatrous family. And the conclusion of this lesson is that, when the Lord said, if you hate not your father, mother, brother, sister, children, even your own life, you cannot be my disciple. That's what we going into today. You listen, what we're about to go through, it's not a walk in the park. Did the Lord say he going to be there for us? Yes. But we're going to be around death. We're going to be in the midst of the famine. But the Lord promised us deliverance in those times. But we're going to be in there. We're going to be in those situations. So to be delivered out of those situations, you have to separate from this life spiritually and morally. You have to go into the way of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That is your only way. No ifs and buts about it. Oops. And it said, now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in the Ur of the Chaldees. And Abraham and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai at this time. And the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren; she had no child. We understand that she ended up having Isaac. And Terah took Abraham his son, and Lot the son of Haran's his son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, and his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from the Ur of the Chaldees into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah was 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So I just wanted to read just a little bit of history just on those two things. Like the Lord took them, from Babylon. That's where Abraham grew up. Guess what? We grew up in Babylon the Great. See how the story coexists? I said Lori. See how the story coexists together? So it's nothing new under the sun. So we are all in Abraham's stead. We are all in Moses' stead. We look it to be in Enoch's stead. He was the first one to be beamed up by the chariot, So we all in Noah's stead, because we have a spiritual ark now. And that's to come into the congregation of the Lord. So we don't have to build a boat. Our boat is going to be the chariot. The Lord said, come up hither. Okay, the strangers of our salvation. That's what we're heading into if we endure to the end. That's all our hope. So it says, and now Yahweh has said unto Abram, get ye out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house into a land that I will show you. Now, some of us actually had to separate from where they grew up at and go into another land. Because the scripture says that a man's goings is of the Lord. So you never thought that you would be in a whole nother state, doing the work. Ain't none of us grow up saying, I want to be a prophet. When your ass was in kindergarten, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a basketball player. That's what we were saying as a 5-year-old child. So nobody ever, we ain't never know that we was going to be a prophet. So it says, I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. That's what's going to eventually happen to us in our land. And I will bless them that bless you, curse them that curse of you, and in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Because the scripture says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But before that, you're going to have to get that rod of iron, which the Lord promised to those who hold fast to that which they have, which is his faith. So now let's jump to our forefather Moses. So I'm just giving you an example of, Abraham and our forefather Abraham and Moses gave us examples of what you're supposed to do. So it said, by faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. So you should know the story. Moses got found in the river by Pharaoh's daughter. All right. And he was being hid because she didn't want nothing to happen unto Moses, because that was around the time where they was trying to kill the baby Hebrew boys. So it says, by faith, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy pleasures of sin for a season. So the reason I love this account, because yo ass, talk about me and you, most of us didn't grow up in a lavish situation. Most of us grew up in the hood, food stamps, things like that. And if you was born in a middle class family, hey, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you was not born into riches like Moses was. All right. So instead of balling out, Moses recognized, like, you know what? As the scripture says, rather to choose affliction. So when you come into this truth, you're going to be afflicted. All your dreams that you had go out the window. because you didn't know any better anyway. Now you know better. Now you understand that we run this race to get an incorruptible crown. But before you knew about this race, you was trying to get a corruptible crown. Like be an athlete, be at some form of entertainment. You wanted to be rich, you wanted to be famous. Then when you got older, you realized you didn't want to be famous, you just want to be rich because you don't really want attention like that. You just want to be but the scripture says that the ones who prosper in this world are the wicked. That's in Psalm 73:12. So, and also in 1 Timothy 6, it talks about that riches become a snare and a trap unto you. Why? Because now you're able to have access to all this wickedness. So let's get to 26. Then matter of fact, the end of 25. Then to enjoy pleasures of sin for a season. So that's the thing, because everything is temporary. And it says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. See, you got to have respect for what you in and what you about to receive. Now, if you think like, I don't really care about that, which most people have that mindset, you're going to say, all right, Lord, taking too long. I want to live my life. I'm cool. So now you want the treasures of Egypt, because this place is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt. And you want the treasures of this place, even though the treasures is corrupted. Your treasure can actually be stolen. The paper money that you covet after so much is about to go digital. Then what? And it says, by faith he forsook Egypt. Talk about the mind state. Not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. See, we don't see the Lord right now, but he's always around. And if you have the fear of the Lord, you know that he's always around. His eyes is in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Proverbs 15:3. So instead of having fear of man, which most of our people do, we have the fear of the Lord, because we understand that the Lord controls the man that you fear. And it said, through faith, he kept the Passover and sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. That takes faith. Going to put, the blood of goats around the doorpost, man. And it says, by faith, they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. So, and that's another thing too. Now, when you go into the Red Sea, you literally have bones and chariot wheels and horses. All of that is under the Red Sea, because the scriptures is true. The rich, they sent out their little archaeologists to go search these things out, and they came out to be true. So now let's get into the examples of today. I already quoted it, but I want to read it straight to the points. So it says, if any man come to me and hate not his father and his mother and his wife and his children, his brethren and sisters, yet even his own life also cannot be my disciple. Whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So listen, as it says in 2 Timothy 3:12, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach shall suffer persecution, because when you stand up for righteousness in this world, you make it yourself a prey. So, hey, if you're doing the right thing, people are not going to like you because you're different. The people, the people of the earth and also the powers that be, they're going to look at you differently because you have a standard. They don't have standards. So whatever feels good unto them is their standard. So this is what we all do it for right here. And matter of fact, let me just read it. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed you. What shall we have therefore? And this is why we have the word to understand what we're going to get, because these are the feelings that you have. And Yahushua said to them, verily I say unto you that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, that means when you come back in your lot, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, being the mark of authority in the kingdom, man. That's what we fight for. And everyone that have forsaken houses or brethren or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold, shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, because we are the last right now. And the last shall be first. So yeah, the Lord is going to turn everything right side up. And this is what's going to happen if you endure. And this is what you need to understand, especially heading into Jacob's trouble. You should have no stumbling blocks in your life. So all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and Shalom.